Good morning, guys. In the last class, we have discussed the questions of alkaline earth metals up to level 2. And in this class, we are going to discuss about the exemplar questions of S-block, both alkali metals as well as alkaline earth metals. And after this, we are going to see various previous questions from both alkali metals as well as alkaline earth metals. And after that, we are going to discuss about the level 3 questions of alkaline earth metals. Now let's start the discussion with the exemplar questions of both. What is the first question? Alkali metals react with water vigorously to form hydroxides and dihydrogen. Which of the following alkali metal react with water least vigorously? Generally, what is saying? Alkali metals react with water to form hydroxide and hydrogen gas. And which of the following element reacts slowly or least vigorously with the water? Generally, we know that among the alkali metals from lithium to cesium, if you are talking, reactivity towards water increases. Reactivity towards, what is this? Towards water. Reactivity towards water increases from lithium to cesium. So that means what? Cesium is most vigorously reactive with water and lithium is least vigorously reactive with water. So this is the least reactive substance towards water. So question is about the least vigorously reacting element. The answer will be first one, right? If it is most, the answer would have been cesium. Look at the next question. Metal carbonates decomposes on heating to give metal oxide and carbon dioxide. Which of the metal carbonate is most stable thermally? This is a question from the alkaline earth metals. As we have already discussed in the properties of alkaline earth metals, if we are talking about the carbonates of alkaline earth metals, from beryllium carbonate to barium carbonate, what happens? The thermal stability increases. What is meant by thermal stability? The temperature where they decompose. Higher the temperature of decomposition, higher will be the thermal stability. Lower the temperature of decomposition, lower will be the thermal stability. So from beryllium carbonate to barium carbonate, thermal stability increases. So this will be the least thermally stable and this will be the most thermally stable. As the question is about the most thermally stable, so your answer will be what? Barium carbonate is the most thermally stable carbonate of alkaline earth metals. Hope it is clear. Now look at the next question. Which of the carbonate given below? Which of the carbonate given below is unstable in air and kept in CO2 atmosphere to avoid the decomposition? Which of the carbonate given below is unstable in air and is kept in CO2 atmosphere to avoid the decomposition? This is also similar sort of question as we just have discussed. Among the carbonates of second group, beryllium carbonate is least stable, so it easily decomposes. In order to prevent its decomposition, it will be kept in carbon dioxide atmosphere. What is the logic behind keeping it in the carbon dioxide? As it decomposes to carbon dioxide. So suppose if you are keeping it in carbon dioxide atmosphere, what happens? According to the Le-Chatelier principle, the forward reaction becomes less and backward reaction becomes more, because what is happening? Already you are keeping in carbon dioxide atmosphere, so the reaction will proceed in such a direction where carbon dioxide concentration decreases. What is the direction of decreasing the concentration of carbon dioxide? The backward reaction. So because of that reason, beryllium carbonate is, because of its less stability, it will be stored in the atmosphere of carbon dioxide, so its decomposition will be prevented according to the Le-Chatelier's principle. Hope it is clear. Look at the next question. The solubility of metal halides depends upon the nature of lattice enthalpy and hydration enthalpy of the individual ions. Among this, fluoride of alkali metals, the lowest solubility of lithium chloride in water is due to. He is saying that on what factor the solubility depends. Generally, the solubility depends upon the nature of compound and lattice enthalpy as well as hydrogen enthalpy of the ions. And he is also saying that lithium fluoride is least soluble in water. What is the reason he is asking? The reason is that ionic nature of lithium fluoride, high lattice enthalpy of lithium or high abrasion enthalpy of lithium ion or low ionization enthalpy of lithium ions. Basically, there are the reason is that because of the smaller size of lithium plus and fluorine minus, they are strongly attracted towards each other and they will form a very strong ionic bond. Because of that reason, its lattice enthalpy will be very much high, so that it is insoluble in water. This is the reason for the insolubility of lithium fluoride in water. Now, when sodium is dissolved in liquid ammonia, a solution of deep blue color is obtained. The color of the solution is jute. He is asking what is the reason for the color. Generally, whenever you are dissolving sodium in take X plus Y moles of ammonia, what happens here? It will dissolve, sodium will dissolve due to the formation of amminated sodium ions plus what is this? Amminated electrons. This blue color as well as this solution will exhibit the conductivity. What is the reason for the color or magnetic, paramagnetic nature? Availability of unpaired electrons. These have free electrons. Because of these free electrons, what happens? See, what are the reason he has given? Aminated electrons, sodium ion, sodium amide, aminated sodium ion. The reason for the color is that aminated electrons. These aminated electrons are responsible for the exhibition of the color when sodium is dissolved in ammonium solution. Here comes our next question. Which of the following element does not form hydride by direct heating with the dihydride? Here all the metals are given from the second group. Generally, you know that among this second group, except beryllium, remaining elements can directly combine with hydrogen to form hydrides. Generally, what type of hydride they will form? They can directly combine with hydrogen to form MH, where M will be equal to what? Magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, etc. But beryllium cannot be prepared in such way. Beryllium has to be prepared in separate method. That beryllium chloride should be treated with lithium aluminum hydride. So what happens? It will form beryllium hydride plus lithium chloride plus aluminum chloride. So if you want the balance equation, take 2 moles of beryllium chloride, so that 2 moles of beryllium hydride. So what is the answer for this? Beryllium cannot directly combine with the hydrogen because of its nanomolar property, because of its smaller size, strong metallic bonding, right? High heat of atomization, etc. reasons it cannot combine directly with the hydrogen to form corresponding hydride. Now let's move to the next question. Which of the following statement is true about calcium hydroxide? He has given some statements regarding the calcium hydroxide, asking you to identify which of the statements are true. Which of the statement is true? It is used in the preparation of bleaching powder. Yes, we have already studied under the application of calcium hydroxide. The main commercial use of calcium hydroxide is in the preparation of bleaching powder. When calcium hydroxide is treated with chloride, it forms bleaching powder. So this is a use. It is actually a right statement. And what about the second statement? It is light blue solid. No, it is a colorless solid. It does not possess disinfectant property. It possesses disinfectant property because it is used in the manufacturing of bleaching powder. Bleaching powder is a disinfectant. What does it mean by disinfectant? The chemical which will kill the microorganisms and which are generally not applied on the human body and can be used to clean floors and etc. They can be applied on the non-living substances. So it is a disinfectant in nature. These two are false statements. It is used in the manufacturing of cement. It is generally not used in the manufacturing of cement. The true statement is it is used in the preparation of bleaching powder. It's one of the commercial application of calcium hydroxide, which is also called as slaked lime. This might be completion of discussion about the questions from the exemplar, NCERT exemplar, and we will discuss about the previously asked KCET questions. Metallic oxide reacts with water to form its hydroxide, hydrogen peroxide, and also liberates oxygen. The metallic oxide is saying that a metallic oxide reacts with water to form hydroxide, hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide. What is saying? Hydroxide and hydrogen peroxide. Huh? Yeah, it is hydroxide, hydrogen peroxide, and also liberates oxygen. Right? It produces free. So what is the metallic oxide is asking? What are the given options? Potassium superoxide, sodium peroxide, calcium oxide, lithium oxide. Basically, see, whenever superoxides are hydrolyzed, superoxides and hydrolysis, that is KO2, if you are treating this with water, it will be converted to KOH and K2O2 plus oxygen gas. So for this, you need to take 2 moles of water. Basically superoxides. Superoxides on hydrolysis forms metal hydroxide, hydrogen peroxide and oxygen. Whereas peroxide on hydrolysis forms metal hydroxide and hydrogen peroxide. They do not evolve oxygen gas. So as per the question, it has to be peroxide. What is the only peroxide in the given option? Superoxide. Only superoxide in the given options is potassium superoxide. Superoxides only hydrolyzed to hydroxide as well as hydrogen peroxide as well as oxygen gas. So because of that reason, your answer will be the potassium superoxide. Let's move to the next question. Here comes our next question. The pair of compounds which cannot exist together in the solution. He is asking which of the following pair of compounds that cannot exist in together in the solution. Given options are sodium hydrogen carbonate, sodium hydroxide, sodium hydrogen carbonate and water, sodium hydrogen carbonate and sodium carbonate, sodium carbonate and sodium hydroxide. The correct option will be sodium hydrogen carbonate. These two cannot exist in the solution together. The reason is that sodium hydrogen carbonate will chemically react with sodium hydroxide, so it will be converted into sodium carbonate plus what it will form? It will form water. Here it behaves as base, it behaves as acid because of the acidic proton. So they cannot exist together. When you mix these two, they will immediately convert into sodium carbonate and water. Because of this particular reason, sodium hydrogen carbonate and sodium hydroxide generally does not exist together in the solution as they react with one another. The remaining can exist in the solution together. Plaster of Paris is represented as. What is the composition of plaster of Paris? Direct question. Composition is what? It can be represented as calcium sulfate, half mole of hydrated water, or it can also be represented as calcium sulfate taken twice and 1 mole of water in hydrated form. I love the representation gives the formula of plaster of Paris. A dead bone plaster is. This calcium sulfate is called as a dead bone plaster. Why? Whenever you are, what is gypsum? Calcium sulfate bihydrate or dihydrate is called as gypsum. When gypsum is heated at 200 degrees centigrade, it lost 2 moles of water, it will be converted into what is this? Basically, if you are heating this at 120 degrees centigrade, what happens? 120 or 130 degrees centigrade, it will be converted into what is this? This will be called plaster of Paris. If this plaster of Paris is heated at 200 degrees centigrade, it will lose this half mole of water, which will be converted into calcium sulfate. As it is prepared from heating of plaster of Paris at high temperature, it will be called as a dead bone plaster. What it is called as dead bone plaster, we call it as. Now, which of the following ions will cause hardness of water? Basically, it's a direct question. You might have already studied this in hydrogen also, as well as we have discussed in the compounds of alkaline earth metal. Basically, calcium and magnesium ions will cause the hardness. Calcium carbonates or calcium sulfate or calcium chlorides will cause the hardness of water, which basically contains Ca+. It is a responsible factor for the hardness of water. It's a direct question. The metal nitrate that liberates nitrogen gas on heating. And given options are sodium nitrate, lithium nitrate, potassium nitrate, rubidium nitrate. It's a question from the nitrates of alkali metals. When nitrates of alkali metals are heated, here what happens? They will be converted into nitrite plus oxygen gas, where N stands for sodium, potassium, rubidium, Cz. Here take 2 moles of nitrate will be converted to nitrate. But when if you are taking lithium nitrate, it's an exceptional behavior. Lithium nitrate, instead of converting into nitrite, it produces nitrogen gas plus oxygen gas. If you want to balance the equation, take 4 moles, so that you will get 2 moles of this and 4 moles of this. Right? So, which will liberate NO2 as well as O2 on heating. Only lithium nitrate will liberate, whereas others will liberate nitrite. It is being discussed in the number of properties of lithium. This makes the completion of previous questions, and let's move to the level 3 questions of alkaline earth metals. These are the level 3 questions of alkaline earth metals. Here comes our first question. The basic character of oxides. Magnesium oxide, strontium oxide, potassium oxide, nickel oxide, cesium oxide increases in order. He has given the oxides. Basically, see, he has given elements of different blocks. S block, D block are generally given. So, but basically, what happens when you are moving left to right in the periodic table, basicity decreases from left to right. So, based on that, you need to give this arrangement. Water that is extremely left will be more basic, and extremely left as well as below the extreme left will be the most basic. Right? Down the group basicity increases in the periodic table, left to right basicity decreases. So, based on this, you have to make this arrangement. What are the given options? Magnesium oxide, strontium oxide, potassium oxide, nickel oxide, and cesium oxide. See, among these two, potassium and cesium are from the extreme left, that is first group. So, what happens? Down the group, what happens? Basicity increases. So, among these two, generally, among the given options, this potassium and cesium should be the most basic. So, which is most basic among the potassium and cesium? Cesium oxide should be most basic, followed by potassium oxide. Right? And after that, which comes? Second group comes. In the second group, what comes? Magnesium comes. Right? And as well as what he has given, strontium comes. Strontium is above the group and magnesium is above the group and strontium is below the group. Down the group, what happens? Basicity increases. So, cesium followed by potassium followed by magnesium strontium followed by magnesium. And this nickel is from D block elements. That means you are moving towards right side. So, left to right, what happens? Left to right, what happens? Basicity decreases. Basicity decreases. So, what will be the increasing order? Nickel will be the least basic, followed by magnesium oxide, followed by strontium oxide, followed by potassium oxide, followed by cesium oxide. Let's see what is the option. This is incorrect. Most has to be cesium, least has to be nickel. So look at this option. Nickel is least, followed by magnesium, followed by strontium, followed by. So this is the criteria and deciding the basicity of. If different elements of different blocks are given, also you should be able to compare the basicity. This is the criteria of comparison. Hope it is clear. Right? Let's move to the next question. Here comes our next question. What is the question? Which of the following statements is correct? He has given some statements asking us to identify the correct statement. First, go through the statements. The first statement says that the atomic radius of sodium is greater than the magnesium. Is it correct or correct? What happens generally? Atomic radius of sodium generally greater than atomic radius of magnesium, because both of them belong to the same period, that is third period. Left to right in a period, what happens? Atomic radius decreases. This is the correct statement. And look at the second statement. Metallic bond in magnesium is stronger than the metallic bond in sodium. This is also correct statement. Generally what happens? Sodium is having only one valence electron, whereas magnesium is having two valence electrons. So metallic bond strength will be directly proportional to the valence electron. Greater the number of valence electron, greater will be the strength of metallic bond. So the metallic bond strength of magnesium will be greater than or stronger than the sodium. This is also correct statement. First two statement are correct. And third statement. Melting and boiling point of magnesium are lower than the calcium. Lower than that of the calcium. Yes, this is also true statement, because if you are talking about the melting and boiling point of alkaline earth metals, among the either it may be melting point or it may be boiling point, magnesium is having the least melting as well as boiling point in the second group. So from that we can say the melting and boiling point of calcium are greater than magnesium, or otherwise melting and boiling points of magnesium are lower than calcium. This is also a true statement. And the fourth statement is that magnesium and calcium are most abundant elements among the alkaline earth metals. This is also a true statement. So all the four statements are true. So what will be the answer? Do we have an option with all the four? We don't have any option. So there is no correct option for this. Make a correction in this particular question. This is level 3 question of alkaline earth metal, where it does not have any proper. It should also contain 3. So now you can go with the second option. It also has to contain the 3 also. All the 4 statements are correct. Make a correction in this particular question. Hope it is clear. Which of the following carbides gives allyling on hydrolysis? What is mean by allyling? Allyling means this particular compound. Propylene, or it is also called as allyling. Basically, this particular compound can be obtained when magnesium carbide is treated with water. Magnesium carbide and hydrolysis will generally produce propylene. So it's a direct question. This calcium carbide will produce acetylene, beryllium carbide will produce methane, and magnesium carbide will also produce acetylene. Whereas this particular Mg2CO3 will produce allyling. Hope it is clear. Here comes the next question. The sulfate of an alkaline earth metal which crystallizes without water of hydrogens. The sulfate of alkaline earth metal which crystallizes without water of hydrogen. Generally, what is the criteria here? Whenever you are moving down the group, what happens? Size of the ion increases. When the size of the ion increases, its polarizing power decreases. So its tendency to retain water decreases. So among the given option, all of them for the second period, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, down the group he has given. This strontium sulfate will be having no tendency for the retention of water because of its bulkier size or larger size. What is clear? Now here comes the next question. Which of the following statements is or not true about the diagonal relationship of beryllium and aluminum? He is asking wrong statements. Wrong statements is asking, na? So go through the statements. Both react with sodium hydroxide to liberate hydrogen. Yeah, both beryllium and aluminum are amphoteric in nature, so both of them will react with hydrogen. This is a true statement. Their oxides are basic in nature. This is a wrong statement. Their oxides are amphoteric in nature. Beryllium oxide, aluminum oxide are amphoteric. Because of that reason only they react with the acids as well as bases. So second B statement is wrong. They become passive by concentrated nitric acid. This is also true statement. They become passive. What is mean by passive? Unreactive because of the formation of surface metal oxide. They will not react to that much towards concentrated nitric acid. This particular nature of beryllium and aluminum is called as passive. And their carbide gives acetylene on treatment with water. This is also a wrong statement. Their carbide gives methane, not acetylene. Carbides of aluminum and beryllium gives methane, not so. The question is about which of the following are wrong statements. Which two are wrong statements? B and D are wrong. A and C are correct. So as the question is about the wrong statement, you need to select A. Here comes B. So B and D, no? Yeah, this will be your answer. B and D will be the answer. Fourth option is correct option for this particular question. Hope it is clear. Here he has given an equation X plus carbon plus chlorine at high temperature gives Y plus carbon monoxide plus 2 moles of water which will be give zinc plus 2 HCl, which is on reaction with water. Here Y on reaction with water. What is this? Y on reaction with water will give Z plus 2 HCl. Compound Y is formed in polymeric structure and is an electron deficient molecule, the compound Y is. So let us complete this equation. Here, as you are given the equation, it is a polymeric compound. So only element in the second group that forms polymers will be beryllium, and as it is treating with carbon and chlorine, from this you need to understand that it's a particular method of preparation of beryllium oxide. When beryllium chloride is treated with carbon plus, one second. You're asking about that? Yeah, when beryllium oxide is treated with, this is one of the methods for the preparation of beryllium chloride. When beryllium oxide is treated with carbon plus chlorine, it will form beryllium chloride plus carbon monoxide. Here this is X and this is Y. When Y is treated with, when beryllium chloride is treated with water, what it forms? It forms beryllium hydroxide plus 2HCl it will form. For that you need to measure. So this is Z. So what he is asking us? He is asking us to identify Y is the compound. How I want to know this is beryllium oxide? He said that it is Y is a polymeric structure and electron deficient. So what is polymer among the given options? Beryllium chloride is polymer. Because of that, Y has to be beryllium chloride. So generally, what is the method of preparation of beryllium chloride? It can be prepared from beryllium oxide plus on reaction with carbon and chlorine. So from this, your answer is what? Beryllium chloride is Y. He is asking us to identify the Y in the equation. Hope it is clear. Nature of calcium carbonate in aqueous solution. What will be the nature? Neutral, basic, or amphoteric, or acidic? As we know, this is a carbonate from the alkaline earth metal. Generally, the carbonates of alkaline earth metals are basic in nature because of carbonate hydrolysis. It's a direct question, right? Basic in nature due to the hydrolysis of carbonate. A solid compound X on heating gives carbon dioxide gas and a residue. The residue mixed with water forms Y. On passing an excess of carbon dioxide through Y in water, a clear solution of Z is obtained. On boiling, Z compound X is formed. On boiling Z compound X is formed. The compound X is. See what he is asking. A solid compound X on heating gives carbon dioxide gas plus a residue. The residue mixed with water forms Y. On passing of excess of carbon dioxide gas through Y in water, a clear solution of Z is obtained. On boiling Z, compound X is formed. Now let us try to convert into the equation form. Generally, when calcium carbonate is heated, it will be converted into calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. This is the first step. What is the residue we got? This residue is nothing but, he has given the residue as right. When this is generally what is here is this is X and this is Y, right? This residue has to be mixed with water, then you will get the Y. When residue is mixed with water, you will get calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide. This is your Y, right? When Y heat, when you pass carbon dioxide gas into this, excess of carbon dioxide gas. When you are passing excess of carbon dioxide, initially it will form calcium carbonate. This carbonate on excess of carbon dioxide, what it will form? It forms calcium hydrogen carbonate. Right? This is your Z. It is calcium hydrogen carbonate is Z. When you are heating this Z, calcium hydrogen carbonate on heating, what happens? It will be converted into calcium carbonate plus CO2 plus H2. Now this is nothing but X. Are you getting this? So he is asking us what is X. Directly X will be what here it is? Calcium carbonate. Hope it is clear. Based on the given data, you need to make such type of analysis. When X is calcium carbonate, among the given options, if you want to get residue plus carbon dioxide, you need to get calcium carbonate only, right? As per the given data. And you can also take potassium carbonate, but this potassium carbonate does not form this clear solution on passing carbon dioxide. Because of that reason, we are going with the calcium carbonate. When this calcium carbonate is heated, it can form calcium oxide, which is a residue on carbon dioxide gas. When this residue is mixed with water, it forms a clear solution. When this clear solution is formed with excess of carbon dioxide, initially it forms calcium carbonate, which is on passing further carbon dioxide in water, it will be converted to calcium bicarbonate. When calcium bicarbonate is strongly heated, again it will be converted to calcium carbonate and carbon dioxide. In this particular reaction, X is calcium carbonate, Y is calcium hydroxide, and Z is calcium bicarbonate, and X will be the calcium carbonate. Hope it is clear. Let's move to the next question. What is this? The hygroscopic substances of the following. What is mean by hygroscopic? The tendency of a substance to absorb the water from atmosphere and retaining that moisture. Attraction for the moisture will be called as hygroscopic. The tendency of a substance to absorb the water or attract the water from the surroundings or atmosphere will be called as hygroscopic. So, among the given option, sodium hydroxide, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, sodium chloride. This sodium hydroxide is hygroscopic. It has a tendency to abstract the water from the atmosphere. Calcium chloride is also having high tendency for the absorption of water. Because of that reason also it is used as a dehydrating agent. And magnesium chloride is also having the tendency for the absorption of water, which is hygroscopic in nature. But NaCl is not hygroscopic. The pure NaCl is not hygroscopic. Right? If it is mixed with sodium chloride, if it is mixed with the magnesium chloride, then it will be hygroscopic. Suppose you can test this. If your salt is very pure, it does not absorb the moisture from the atmosphere and it does not become liquid. If it is impure, if it is associated with magnesium chloride and calcium chloride, what happens? These magnesium chloride and calcium chlorides are having the tendency to absorb the moisture from the atmosphere, and by that what happens? That will become liquefied. So, what are the correct options here? Apart from the fourth, remaining three are correct. That means this first, second, third are hygroscopic and fourth is not hygroscopic in nature. Next question. Suspension of slaked lime in water is called. Suspension of slaked lime in water is called. It's a direct question. What is mean by slaked lime? Calcium hydroxide is called as slaked lime. Suppose if you are adding this to water, you will get what do we call this? Calcium hydroxide aqueous. Right? Now, if you filter this solution, you will get filtrate and you will get the suspension. This suspension will be called as milk of lime, be called as, and this will be called as lime water. This suspension of slaked lime will be called as, this is generally called as slaked lime. The suspension of slaked lime is called as milk of lime. What it is called? Milk of lime it is called. Generally, when you are dissolving calcium hydroxide in water, it forms an aqueous solution, which if you filter out this aqueous solution, the filtered clear solution will come. This is will called lime water, and the suspension which remains will be called as milk of lime, which is called. Look at the next question. Which of the following reactions MgO is not formed? MgO is not formed. Here it forms MgO. Right? In this particular reaction, you get magnesium oxide. Here you won't get the magnesium oxide. Here you won't get the magnesium oxide. What you will get here? Here you will get magnesium nitrate. Apart from the second reaction, in all the cases you will get the magnesium nitrate. When you are treating with a dilute HNO3, it does not form magnesium oxide, it will form magnesium nitrate. Take 2 moles of this so that you get along with the hydrogen gas. So in remaining all the cases you will get the magnesium oxide. Here also you will get the magnesium oxide, here also you will get the magnesium oxide, here also you will get the magnesium oxide. But what you get here? Here you will get the magnesium nitrate unit. magnesium nitrate unit. Right? So this will be your answer. Here comes our next question. The name and the formula of the compound of calcium, carbon and nitrogen is used as a fertilizer. It's a direct question which is an application of calcium compounds. Compound of calcium which is containing carbon and nitrogen is basically used as a fertilizer. He is asking us to identify the compound of the fertilizer. Given options are calcium cyanide, calcium carbonate, calcium cyanide having carbon particles, calcium cyanamide having carbon. This particular composition, the mixture of CaCN2 plus carbon, this particular mixture is called nitroline. What it is called? Nitroline, which is used as a fertilizer. It will undergo slow decomposition. On slow decomposition, it will liberate ammonia, which is essential for the plant growth. Because of that reason, it is used as a fertilizer. Here comes our next question. Water is added to the calcium carbide and the evolved gas is passed through the dilute solution, dilute H2SO4. The organic compound formed is formaldehyde, acetaldehyde, acetic acid, formic acid. Now try to make this equation. First, what he has given? Calcium carbide. When you analyze this calcium carbide, what do you get? I'm not writing balanced equation. You just try to make them balanced if it is required. Unless until you don't do any. This is acetylene gas. What is acetylene? And when this acetylene is treated, this is a colorless gas which is evolved. What is a colorless gas? Acetylene is a colorless gas that is evolved when calcium carbide is treated with water. When this is treated with dilute H2SO4, right? What it will form? It will form acetaldehyde. What it will form? This is called acetaldehyde. This particular reaction we are also going to discuss in organic chemistry under the preparation of aldehydes. So what will be your product? Acetaldehyde is the answer. Hope it is clear. When calcium carbide is treated with water, it evolves a colorless gas acetylene. When acetylene is treated with dilute H2SO4, it forms. It undergo. Acetylene will undergo oxidation to form acetaldehyde. What it will form? Acetaldehyde will form. Now, look at the next question. Which of the following react with oxygen to form amphoteric oxide? Which will form amphoteric oxide in the second group elements? It's a direct question. Beryllium, obviously, beryllium will form the oxide, beryllium oxide, which is amphoteric in nature. What is meant by amphoteric? Which can react with both acids as well as bases, whereas the rest of them will be only basic in nature. Here comes our next question. In polymeric beryllium chloride, there are 3 center 2 electron bonds or 3 center 3 electron bonds, 2 center 3 electron bonds, 2 center 2 electrons. In generally, beryllium chloride exists in polymeric form where the structure will be similar to like this. This is we have already discussed in the chlorides of beryllium, where they are having what type of bond they are having? Banana bonds. This particular bond, what will be called is 3 center 2 electron bond. What is called? 3 center 2 electron. 3 electrons are sharing 2 electrons. 3 elements are sharing. Beryllium, chloride, beryllium. These are the 3 elements. 3 centered. How many electrons are being distributed from here to here? 2 electrons. So because of that, it is called 3 centered 2 electron bond. Now let's move to the next question. With increase in atomic number from magnesium hydroxide to barium hydroxide, which property among increases? Let us see what are the properties given. Solubility, thermal stability, basic character. See, when you are moving from magnesium hydroxide to barium hydroxide, when you are moving down the group, in case of hydroxides of alkali earth metals, their solubility increases, their thermal stability increases, their basic character increases. All the 3 properties increases. So what will be the answer? Answer will be the 3. Solubility as well as thermal stability as well as basic character increases when you are moving from magnesium hydroxide to barium hydroxide. It's a property of alkaline earth metals. Which of the following decomposes at the highest temperature? It's a question from the alkaline earth metal carbonates. Generally, what happens when you are moving from beryllium carbonate to barium carbonate? What happens? Thermal stability. Thermal stability increases. What is mean by thermal stability increases? It is most stable thermally, it is least stable thermally. So most thermally stable in the sense it decomposes at highest temperature. Which will decompose at highest temperature? Barium carbonate will decompose at highest temperature, so that we are calling it as thermally most stable. Barium carbonate decomposes at low temperature, we are calling thermally less stable. You get the next question. Amphoteric nature is shown by, he has given certain set of elements asking us to identify which will be the amphoteric. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium. Beryllium is only amphoteric. Magnesium and calcium are basic in nature. Beryllium and aluminum are amphoteric, but not calcium. Beryllium, zinc, aluminum. These three are amphoteric. Here, all the three are basic in nature. Nothing is amphoteric in nature. What is meant by amphoteric? If it is capable of reacting with both acids and bases, we call it as amphoteric. Here, this calcium, magnesium, strontium cannot be reacted with the bases; they can only react with the acids. So we cannot consider them as amphoteric in nature. Only amphoteric elements are beryllium, zinc, and aluminum. Now, let's move to the next question. The solubility of nitrates of second group elements. Stability of nitrates. He is asking about the stability of nitrates of second group elements. So he has given the nitrites. Basically, what happens? The nitrites of second group are given. This is a general formula of the nitrites, where N stands for beryllium to barium. So generally, what happens when you are moving from beryllium nitride to barium nitride? The stability decreases. Stability, what happens? Decreases. Thermal stability decreases. So what will be the increasing or decreasing order? According to the given option, calcium nitride is less stable than magnesium nitride and beryllium. This is the correct option. So if it is the correct, remaining must be wrong. Beryllium nitride should be the most and barium nitride should be the least. So I think we have option between calcium to beryllium only. So then we will be the correct answer. You just verify the rest of the options also. Alkaline earth metals are denser than alkali metals because metallic bond strength in alkali earth metals is weaker or strong. Basically, what he is asking a comparison between alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. He is saying that alkaline earth metal density of alkali metals and alkaline earth metals are denser than alkali metal due to what? Due to this strong metallic bond. Why? It has only one electron. In the valence shell, it has two electrons. Metallic bond strength is directly proportional to number of valence electron. So because of the greater number of valence electron, it forms a stronger metallic bond. Because of that reason, the density of alkaline earth metals is greater than the density of alkali metals due to this strong metallic bond. Hope it is clear. It comes on next question. Which of the following sulfate have the highest solubility in water? It is a question from the solubility of alkaline earth metals. When you are moving from beryllium sulfate to barium sulfate, the solubility decreases. So that what should be the most soluble? Barium sulfate is most soluble, beryllium sulfate is least soluble. So here we have the question with highest solubility. So that beryllium sulfate is your answer. So this makes the completion of the questions from the all the levels of S block elements, that is alkali metals as well as alkaline earth metals of conceptual level 1, level 3, exemplar questions as well as the previous year questions. This makes the completion of the chapter of S block elements, and the rest of the questions you try to solve. If you get any doubts in solving any questions, please do ask in the group. Thank you, and that's all for the day.